Dear professionals, hope you are doing well. Today's topic, which we are going to discuss, is SAP Ariba. Currently, you may know SAP Ariba is the most demanded application within the procurement space. Yep. Before further delay, we'll get started. Before getting started with today's topic, just a quick info. Ariba is a vast topic which cannot be covered in one single video. Hence, we'll be covering into a series of videos. Yep, which will be posted in our channel, not every week, but we'll make sure at least alternative weeks. Without further delay, we'll get started with today's topic. First, we'll understand when Ariba was formed. So basically, whenever you're going to learn any new technology, first need to make sure like we learn from a base. Yeah, that's most important. So yeah, Ariba was founded on California in 1996 by Bobby Lent, Boris, Paul, and Rob, Ed, and Paul Hegarty and Keith Cratch. The idea behind Ariba is to make procurement process online, everything through online, yeah, and eliminate the paper based. Earlier there were a lot of paper based dependency, so the Ariba came into picture just to make sure everything through online and eliminate the paper based. Yeah. And there is an important date we need to keep in mind is that is 2012. Yeah, that is where the ACP came into picture and they acquired Ariba. So before that it was a standalone product. So Ariba was acquired by SAP in 2012. From there, it has been called as SAP Ariba. Okay. Understand the difference between Ariba upstream and downstream. So whenever we hear the term Ariba, so immediately they will also hear the term Ariba upstream and downstream. So who are new to Ariba, they may be confused what is Ariba upstream or downstream. So just to make it clear, so it's like a bifurcation of a product. Yeah. So Ariba upstream, if you understand the S2P process, so it starts from source to pay. Where it is divided into two pieces. Yeah. So one is S2C, source to contract, and other is procure to pay. So source to contract is covered under Ariba upstream. So if you see again source to contract, it starts from strategic sourcing and supplier onboarding and contract activities. All this taken care in Ariba upstream. So these are the pieces covered. Whereas if you take downstream, all the operational procurement activities it is covered, like starting from purchase requisition, purchase order, GR, invoice, and payments is covered in Ariba downstream. Hope you're now clear with the differentiation. Yeah. So if you take in just to quickly summarize, upstream is covered from like source to contract, and downstream is covered from procure to pay. Now we'll look into Ariba login methods. Basically, Ariba provides us three login method option. Yeah, one is application authentication, next is corporate authentication, and last one is SSO. Yeah. So whereas first thing, if you start with the first one, application authentication, where we need to enter the username and password. So the username and password can be maintained like customer, like admin can maintain this, and the same can be shared with the user, and user can use it. Yeah. So in the username there is no any restriction, so you can have any user ID. So Ariba will not restrict you anything, so that can be used. And second method is corporate authentication. This is like the password and the username should be as per your corporate identity. So you should have the mail ID as per your, you should use your corporate email ID and the password. Yep. And the third method is SSO. Yeah. Where in this case, you when you're into your corporate network and when you click on just Ariba, so it automatically take into the page. So there is no need to enter your credential or password. Yeah. These are the three types of methods provided by Ariba. We'll now look into Ariba offerings. Firstly, Ariba is a cloud-based platform. Yeah, it's hosted in cloud. Yeah, so offerings. So we can see different offerings here. We'll just first look into the Ariba upstream part. So you can see the supply management. Under supply management, we have SLP and supply risk. Yeah, and it's not mandatory like both SLP and supply risk we should have as a we should be using. So it's depend on your customer requirements. Either they can have only SLP or SLP and supply risk. Risk is not a mandatory product. And if you go for strategic sourcing, we have a sourcing, we have a contract, and we have a spend analysis. And if we go for downstream, you can see we have the supply chain collaboration, Ariba buying, commerce automation, payables, and invoice management. These are the pieces covered under Ariba downstream. And at the last, you can also see something called customer value services. This is additional service provided by SAP. It's a part of again licensing between SAP and your customer. So If you have a licensing button, you will also be provided with this additional services. You also can see like the services covered under the SAP services, direct access to SAP ERP, supply enablement, catalog enablement, end user or supply support, sourcing support desk, or e-auction support. We'll now look into the last topic of our today video, that is Ariba process workflow. Yeah, if you can see, there are different pieces like sourcing, contract, buying, and invoicing. Yeah. The flow starts from sourcing request, where the end users initiate the sourcing request, in turn which will be routed to the procurement page, where they conduct the sourcing event, and they do receive the bids, and once that is done, and we finalize the supplier, and the supply will be awarded. Yeah. Once the supply is awarded, there it comes under the contracts. Yeah. The contract request will be initiated. So when contract is initiated, the contract workspace will be created, and then the main agreement will be drafted. And further to it, there'll be further approvals and negotiation will take place. Once that is done, the customers and also the suppliers get the electronic signed. So currently, Ariba provides two electronic signature offerings. So they have like one is DocuSign and one they have another one is Adobe. Yeah. So they have two types of electronic signature offerings currently is available within Ariba. So either customer can use either DocuSign or they can also use Adobe major purpose. So once the contract agreement is signed, so next the contract line items will be pushed to contract line items or terms will be pushed to SAP Ariba Buy, where further the downstream activities come into place, where the purchase requisition will be initiated. Once that is initiated, we'll go for the further approvals. Once the PR get approved, the purchase order will be raised. And once the purchase order is sent to the supplier, and once we receive the goods, that is where the GR will be taken place. Once the goods receipt is done, the invoice will come to picture. Once the invoicing is done, the invoice reconciliation will be performed just to make sure everything is matched. And once everything is performed, if we are good to pay, then the further payment request please will come into place. The payments will be initiated. Quick intro about the workflow. So we'll go into the depth with all these models will be covering in our upcoming sessions. Yeah. We are now at the end of today's session. Hope you have some better understanding now about the SAP Ariba Basics. If you like this content, please to subscribe our channel and click the like button. If you have any further query about today's topic, please to comment. Also in community tab of our channel, you will find our official blog post link, which will cover the topic which we discussed today. Yeah, have a great time. We'll meet you next week with another topic. Bye for now.